Golf Central on YouTube is brought to you by the new Apex irons from Callaway.
As far as surprises go, not really. Surprises, I felt like some of the green firmnesses were different from green to green. Some of them were firmer than others, and I think as the tournament goes on, I think they'll all continue to firm up. Some of them today, there's a couple that were a little softer than others, but outside of that, no, not really. No crazy surprises.
And your back is okay, or?
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened on that shot, though?
Which shot?
On 17, when you kind of grabbed it at your back.
Really, I woke up just a little sore this morning, and I had trouble kind of loosening it up, and that was a hard, with it being a little bit tight, it was hard for me to get through it, and I was kind of laboring most of the day to get through the ball. On 17, I was trying to hit a high draw, and that's a shot where I really got to use, big turn, big motion, and so really just felt it a little bit, but other than that, all good.
Scottie, I don't think mathematically you can drop lower than second after this week. How do you fight the human instinct of not getting up for this sort of event if the stakes aren't necessarily all that drastic?
I don't know. I mean, if I viewed it that way, why would we play the rest of the season? Why would I show up to Sony if, you know what I mean? It's not one in my head, not one more tournament's more important than another. And, the majors obviously will always, I think of it this way. When I'm practicing at home, I'm practicing and preparing for the season. At the end of the day, though, the majors, I think, are always in the back of everybody's minds. But I'm not sitting there in November thinking about a certain shot for Augusta. I'm thinking about having the shots that I need to play good golf for most of the season. And as far as that goes, no, definitely don't have any trouble getting motivated to come out here and play a PGA Tour event, for sure.
Not to belabor the point, but was the back tightness an issue in Memphis as well, or?
No.
Oh,
No, maybe I hit a few too many balls yesterday or something. It was just a little sore. I'm sure. Get some ice on it and stuff, and I'll be totally fine tomorrow.
I'm going to belabor the point. Are you going to get some treatment or do anything special?
Just normal routine, just like always.
Real quick, Scottie, they've got a lot of the Evans Scholars out here this weekend. When you're playing a new course, elevation, all the different variables, how valuable is the caddy for you, and what is that working relationship like today?
Yeah, I think having Teddy out there is extremely important for me in every round. Up here, especially with him doing most of the math and getting the adjustments and figuring out where to miss and where not to miss. Just because, a lot of times when you come to a new course like this, I don't have the time to walk the course and have a good understanding of where all the misses need to be and stuff like that. And so Teddy does a really good job of helping me kind of plot my way around the golf course. And so, yeah, caddy around a golf course like this, especially seeing it for the first time, is really important.
There's a little bit of a trust factor with altitude and sort of your eyes and what you see. We're pretty good at sort of seeing, what looks like 200 yards. I mean, unless a designer or architect's really good at sort of deceiving you, we can kind of get a feel for what looks like a 9-iron or 8-iron, at least ballpark, within one club. And I think out here, there's a few times where you're going over water and it's downwind and you're off a downslope and you're kind of doing your calculations and the number is putting you five steps short in the water. And it's just a little bit of a trust thing on certain holes still.
On 11T, you have a drastic drop, and then you've also got elevation. And is that the hardest club to pull, or are they all hard to figure out?
It's that one's. I mean, that's not too bad. There was a bit of green to work with, over that first swale. So I mean, there was probably 14 yards short of that pin where you could still get it on top of that shelf. And if you just hit over the green, you're just on the fringe putting. So it's just in those spots where the wind's kind of in or off the left, and you're kind of tucked to a right pin, and short side it's terrible. So where you start the guessing game begins too often, I guess.
You had a lot of questions about Scottie before playing. What's it like playing with him on a Thursday in this kind of environment? What were you guys talking about whenever you were walking?
Yeah, I mean, it's a comfortable pairing. Teddy and Scottie, yeah, they're fun to be around, and we've played enough golf together, so it's we can talk if we want. We don't have to if we don't want to. we're not talking too much walking up these hills, trying to catch our breath getting to the ball. So, but yeah, it's a comfy pairing.
Did you notice him Scottie having any issues with his back today?
I mean, not really. I mean, I don't even know if he's having issues with his back, but is that what he said to you?
He said he had some tightness.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few times. Maybe when he turned his head a few times, he looked a little stiff, but he was stiff at the Masters and the Players, and had to get worked on all those times. So, I guess it's a bad sign for everyone else.
How good is your PT guy? You guys share the same.
Yeah, Mars is amazing. I'd like to think he's the best.
You talked about that trust factor. When you're playing a course like this, it's a little bit different than what you're accustomed to. Is there a trust with your caddy that you lean on him a little bit more? Is that part of it?
Yeah, it's more so, you're sitting there and you get your initial number, and then, we're breaking it down to sea level. And then there's like 2 or 3 numbers because I always want a short and a long and a pin. So then there's like 6 numbers, and then I'm talking about wind to all those numbers, and there's 9 numbers, and then I need the final number for the shot I'm hitting at sea level. And I messed up today on 10, which is my fault. I think we had 110 or 112 pin, and I ended up hitting like a full 60. And I remember him saying something like close to 100 yards or 95 yards, and I hit it like 108 yards, and I was like, man, why'd that go so far? And then I was walking up, and I literally got lost in the sauce of one of those 10 numbers that I just listed. So, I had one hiccup today when it came to that sort of altitude, sea level situation.
What's your experience playing at high elevation like, and have you seen indications from yourself that you're capable of?
Yeah, I mean,
something
we took a long time trying to figure it out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We got it down to about 10% when it's this temperature. This morning we were playing 8%. So it's worked out. It's definitely a little bit more stressful because there's a lot more going on, numbers, and but we did a good job of it today.
Do you feel like you've gotten a little bit of a new lease on life, getting in on the actual number, and now you're kind of making the most of it?
Definitely. It was Sunday afternoon was one of the toughest afternoons of my PGA Tour career. It was really brutal. So it's such a relief to be here, and I just felt a lot calmer today. But I played really, really well.
Where were you Sunday afternoon? Like, where did you hear the news from?
Billy,
I guess he called
Well,
you?
I was in my room. I had the FedEx Cup standings, the coverage on, the featured holes, my phone. I had it all going. But it was tough, but glad that it worked out.
You talked about the importance of that magic 50. Does it feel even stronger this year? Having gone through it, I guess.
It does. I mean, the top 50's one of our most important numbers for us as players to be playing in these big tournaments and FedEx Cup points. I want to be out there with the guys in the Ryder Cup team, be playing with them on the range with them in the locker room and the tournament. So it's really important for me to be in this top 50.
Keegan, when given your position coming in, did you take any different approach today, play more aggressively, anything like that?
No, I don't play very well when I do that. So I just went out and played as if I would play a normal round. We talked about it before, Scottie and I just said just play normal, trying to birdie every hole I can anyways, whenever. So that was the plan.